Greetings, travelers. Welcome back. This is Trav, and in today's video, I'm going to discuss flying machines, two-way flying machines. Now, I've been doing a little bit of research on these lately, trying to kind of get back into these with the transition to Bedrock. And I think I've improved some of the designs that a lot of folks are using now to simplify the stations. Because if you look up flying machines on Bedrock now, you get these pretty complicated return stations and whatnot that use quite a bit of dust and torches and everything else, and they have to push the whole machine. We're going to try to avoid some of those and simplify this process. Okay, so let me kind of give you an example of what this would look like. Alright guys, so what we have here is the basic concept. Alright, so let's start this baby off just by updating this observer, and then we can put this observer here to make this thing fully autonomous as it goes back and forth. By incorporating some redstone blocks, we're able to really simplify our return stations. Okay, just like this. You know, it's just 4 blocks on either side, and there's your return stations. No dust or anything like that. And then to shut this thing off, all you would do is you would remove this observer from the equation. So we'll let it go. We remove this observer, and this thing's going to stop down here, either by removing that observer or by removing that piston. Either way, the point here is that this is going to be kind of our basic building block. We're going to be able to take this design and mold it, manipulate it so that it meets our needs as our needs change. So the basic design, let's go ahead and call this the 4x4. All right, so to start this thing off, we need 4 slime blocks or honey blocks. They work as well. Take 4 slime blocks, and right up against those, you do a sticky piston, a normal piston, turn around, and put a normal piston and a sticky piston, okay? So the sticky pistons are on the outside, the normal pistons are on the inside, all right? Now the trick here is when you place the next 4, that's why we call it a 4x4, you need to expose the sticky piston towards the direction of travel. If this is going to go that way, in order to send it that way, we need to expose that sticky piston. On the way back, that sticky piston needs to be exposed, so that way it can continue to progress forward. Now, all we need to do to charge this is we need to power these pistons. So we need to power this normal piston. It's going to push the machine forward. We can do that right there. And then we need to power this sticky piston that's pulling the rear, just like that. So now we can uncover this, we can send it off, and there she goes. And then now, to return this thing, you need to do 2 different things. First thing you need to do is you need to push these pistons over. We did that over there by incorporating redstone blocks into the flying machine. After you push those over, once again exposing the sticky piston that faces the direction of travel, you then need to update this observer. And then it returns. Okay? And what we did over here is we did that by using another observer, which created an observer clock, like this. Because with just the randomness to the flying machines on Bedrock, by creating multiple pulses like this in this little short clock, it ensures that this thing's able to travel forward. Sometimes one single pulse isn't quite enough. So using observers like this and making a small clock ensures that that's going to get the pulses it needs to move forward. Okay, so moving on, we have the basic 4x4 design, the platform. So let's take a look at how we can manipulate this to be a crop harvester, right? For our bamboo and our sugar cane and pumpkins and melons and whatnot. Well, this autonomous design we came up with earlier is 7 tiles wide. But we can add 3 blocks to either side of it before we hit the push limit. So let's take a look at what we can do to make this wider. All right, so there's 7 tiles wide. If we look at this concept, we are now at 13 tiles wide before we hit our push limit. So let's take a look at what I've done here. Well, to start, instead of automating the starting part, okay, using redstone blocks, I was able to eliminate 2 redstone blocks by doing this part manually. Because if you think about it, for a harvester, you only need to send the flying machine down when the crops are ready to harvest. So they're usually going to be sent down on a pulse determined by an observer that's watching the crop, or according to a hopper clock or a timer, or so on and so forth. So you don't need this side to be automated by the machine. All right. So we can clear up a couple blocks and do that and save some room on this side. So by doing that, you can see just how much wider this is. So let's take a look. I move the observer to the top. Once again, we have to update the observer, and we're doing that by pushing another observer over, creating an observer clock. And then we also need to push all the pistons over when this thing returns. All right, the important thing here for wiring is that you push the pistons over on a delay. So take a look here. I've got a lever that's going to activate everything. This is on a 4-tick delay, which gives this enough time to push over and this thing to kind of catch up. So let's watch here. Just like that. It goes down. The return station's automated. And it returns. Goes down. Return station's automated. And it returns. And there's a nice flat bottom for flying over your crops. So let's take a look at how to build this big guy. All right, so first thing we need to do is start on one of the bars. So we're going to come up off the ground, and then we're going to add our slime blocks, and we're going to do 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, and we can block the second to the last one here. All right, and then from the end, we're going to go over 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to do our 4x4. So sticky, normal, normal, sticky. And then now, remembering to leave the sticky piston exposed to the direction of travel, we're going to put our slime block here. And then we're going to do 7 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then a block on the end. And this is like, this could be slime, but the reason for this is so that way, if you're going up against a wall, it's not going to stick to the wall. Okay, so let's look at activating this. We're going to go ahead and block this one here. First observer goes behind this normal piston, just like that. Or if you're putting it above, come up here and put it face down like this. The next one is going to charge this sticky piston. So we could do the same. Come to this side, right behind that sticky piston, face it down. Just like that. Okay, so now all we need to do is we need to come over here, and we're going to skip the end and the first slime block, and then the second slime block, we're going to put a redstone block here. And then we're going to come to the front bar, and we're going to go 2 over from the observer, and we're going to put a redstone block there. And that machine is done. So now let's look at the stations to send this thing off. Okay. Well, first thing we're going to want to do is come over to this corner slime block here and come up twice and have a sticky piston. And this is going to be our observer clock. So we're going to have an observer like this. So when that gets pushed over, that's going to update that observer. And then now what we need is to get a piston in place that's going to push these guys over when it returns. So we're going to go underneath the redstone block to the slime block, and we're going to place a normal piston right there. Okay, so now all we have to do is wire these together. So come underneath the normal piston like this and put that there, and then do the same with this sticky piston here. And then we can bring that one down, put a block here, lever on the corner, and remember this one needs to be delayed, so you could put a repeater here on 4 ticks, and you could put dust here and here. And that's going to start this thing up. Okay, so if we're running off an observer, you just send your pulse to here. Now let's go to the other end. So we're going to come out here to wherever we want it to go, having a movable block. Just like that. Once you have your movable block, you just kind of space this out. The slime block's going to hit here, and then the redstone block is going to be in this position. So that means we need our sticky piston here. And then this needs an observer, so come up from the top, look down, place an observer. And that's going to extend, and it's going to bump into that. Now the only thing we need to add is the normal piston to slide the 4x4 over. So if we come out from our stopper block, 1, 2, and then come this direction, a total of 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We need a normal piston face into that block. So we're going to skip one. And then we're going to put a normal piston here. And then when that flying machine comes, that redstone block's going to be on this side. And then that sticky piston's going to be on this side. And we could get rid of these. And that is our return station. Now with this thing ready, all we need to do is flip our lever, send it off. And it auto returns. And it's back again. That's simple. 2 pieces of dust. That's all this station needs if you're going to build it 13 wide. Okay? So anyway, guys, that's all I have for you. I hope you enjoyed a nice, simple flying machine with a much simpler return station. So with that being said, guys, I hope you enjoy. Use them in your farms. Put them to work. They're great little flying machines. I had a lot of fun designing this with chat last night. It was great for you guys to be there. And make sure you don't miss my next live stream. Other than that, guys, enjoy the day. Support the video. As always, this is Trav. Bye for now.